Hello. I interrupt the regularly non-regular programming of my YouTube channel. I had a comment the other day about one of my hysterectomy videos. So if this does not interest you, no harm, no foul, you can go ahead and click off because it's like a lot of lady TMI information. And if anyone is not interested in what I'm currently drinking, I have Pure Kick Blood Orange, zero sugar pack in my water. Not sponsored. Okay, so someone asked about, I think my last video was like 3 years ago. I think that was, or not 3 years ago. It was a 3-year update, which I was like, I think 33 at the time, 34. Well, yeah, I had my whole thing done like 9 years ago, because I'll be 40 next year. I'm 39 right now. So let's go through some progress and some of the things I wasn't asked, but I feel is related to this issue. How am I feeling? I feel good, apart from the fact that I'm getting super frustrated with my weight. Like, it's slowly creeping up. I still eat the same that I've always eaten. I mean, hell, I'm even cutting out extra stuff. I bake my own bread. If we do buy bread, it's like sourdough bread. So we're trying to do like additional little tweaks in our diet. And it is still just like, like right now I'm like, I restarted a diet, like not a diet, but like counting calories. Tomorrow will be day 5 of counting calories. And I have to do about 1450 to see any weight loss, because every time I do like a DEXA scan, which I do every year, the number of my resting, basal metabolic rate is just getting lower and lower and lower. I remember the last number, like right off the top of my head, my resting metabolic rate was around 1800. Like, I just burn 1800 calories a day, like sitting on my ass. And now it's down to like 1512. So, any small indulgence in my weekend reflects Monday on the scale. Like, it sucks ass. I don't like puffy cheeks, because right now I'm at 183 as of this morning, and I'd like to get back down to 175, which is where I was like holding weight up until about like 3 years ago. So I've really been like going back and forth, and it's just like getting older and your metabolism slows down. I'm also now, which I think if you have been with me for the longest time and I go back talking about my weight, or maybe I even mention it in lives, I've slowly noticed this over the past 9 years that my weight was creeping up, because I think right around the time when I was 30, before I had it done, I was like 170, 168, and it slowly just starts, it's just been creeping up. Super slow. I've had times in between where I'll do like a keto diet, or I'll go really hard for a few months and I'll lose 10 pounds. And then I just have one crazy weekend and it starts creeping right back up before I know it. So I've been in this yo-yo diet trying to control that. Cause I mean, damn dude, like just to lose weight, I have to eat like 1400 calories a day. Like, that's not a lot of food. It can be done, but I have to measure every little gram that I put in my mouth. So that's how I'm feeling. Perimenopausal, definitely. I think I've been in a slow decline towards menopause since I've had my hysterectomy, or maybe even before. I want to say after, because a lot of my videos where I'm talking about like strange weight gains immediately, I had already had my hysterectomy. So that's an issue. Plus I'm getting older, metabolism slows down. Recipe for disaster. Since my hysterectomy, if you've been with me again, at some point when I was around like 35, 36, I had to go on hormone replacement therapy, because it turned out at my lowest, most depressed point, I was making 0 testosterone, which also affects the ratio of your other hormones. So I was in a bad place for like a year, And then I ended up going on HRT because I watched some podcast with Dr. Drew and his wife, and she was talking about her menopausal story. And I was like, oh crap, let me go to the doctor and get that checked out. Lo and behold, my body just stopped producing testosterone. So, and if you're wondering, yes, women do produce testosterone. It's just not as high as men. I think men, it's like 400 to 1,000 or something like that. And then women obviously is like much lower, like maybe 30 to 70, 100. But I was making 0, baby. The meter couldn't even pick it up. So that's how HRT is going. I take a 4% compounded cream every night. It's like in a little clickable, think of it like a push pop, except you turn the bottom to click, and then the cream comes out through 3 holes in the top, and I put it on my underarm and I let that absorb, dry for a little bit, and then I put my pajamas on and I take a 4%. I used to be at 2%, but I honestly, like, when you're at a higher testosterone as a woman, and I don't mean like transitional numbers, it's just in a higher range within a female range. You know what I mean? You're at the higher end of a female range. Like, I feel more incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I first did the hormone therapy, because I was on pellets for a while. And then, look, I'll tell you, when I was working and I was making like pretty okay money, I could afford it. But then when the film industry kind of took a turn and I wasn't getting as much work, or just other bills came up, I was like, damn, you know, this is really, really expensive. Because it was $350 every 4 to 6 months. Plus, when you get that, they also sell you like some vitamin supplement. I couldn't even tell you what it's called at this point, because I've been away from it for like a few years now. But they make you buy a supplement. So like every 4 to 6 months, you were buying the supplement, which was $40, plus the pellets, which was $350. So I was spending like almost $400 every 4 to 6 months. And I say 4 to 6 months because, and again, I don't know if this is like due to menopause and everything starts going like this when you're starting to hit that certain age. Some months I think I would go through my pellets like around the 4th month. And then, you know, some months I would make it to the 6th month, but I'd have like 30 testosterone at that point. And I'm like, fuck, fill me up. You know what I mean? Like, to boost my number back up. But I do remember when I first had it, like the first time I had the pellets, I think he put like 200, is it milligrams? It has to be milligrams. Like, he put 200 milligram pellets under like the skin of my butt cheek. And like 2 weeks in, I remember I woke up one day and it was like, have you ever seen Requiem for a Dream, where they take like a hit of, I don't know if they're smoking meth or heroin or something, and then like the camera just kind of zooms in on their eyes and you see their eyes like dilate, like, oh, you know what I mean? That's how I felt one morning when I woke up. I was like, I felt like a teenage, just the virility and just stamina and energy of like a 16-year-old boy. I know that sounds nuts, but trust me, it's actually an incredible feeling, because I went one day from just feeling like hopeless and just like, I mean, it's amazing how much hormones control so much in your body, especially like mentally, how it affects you. And I woke up one day and I was like, oh my God, like I could take over the world. Like, I'm going to cut the grass. I'm going to wash the dishes. I'm going to go running. And you know what I mean? Like, ladies, it is truly an amazing experience. Now I'm on the cream because it's only $40 every time I refill it. It's not covered by my insurance, which I could go on another tangent about, but we won't go down that route today. But $40 out of pocket is not bad. So I get it filled every 30 days or so, which isn't bad. But I would suggest, if anybody has the money for it, if you are at your lowest end, like I was, like if you're just producing 0 and you find a doctor, they're like, I could do cream, or I could do pellets, or we could do injections. and you have the money, get the pellets. Of course, if you don't like needles, that's like a given, right? Get yourself the pellets, go on it for a few months, and then at that point switch to a cream. So you get, because I can tell you, there was a point between my pellets where I was just like, I can't afford this anymore. And then I finally saw my gynecologist and she's like, I could manage you for the creams because I can do creams, I just don't do pellets. And I was like, yeah, go ahead and put me on the cream. And I could feel, and it's amazing like how you feel your hormones like teetering off. I could feel myself teetering off and I was like, oh my God, like I need my hit, you know what I mean? And I will say the cream took about 2 months to kick in versus when I would do the pellets, I felt it kick in like 2 weeks later. So justify the cost and just how down in the dumps you feel and see how you want to handle that. But of course there are injections as well, but you got to give yourself like injections, I think daily or weekly or something like that. So that's up to you. Intimacy changes, I was asked. At the beginning, when I was, like I said, feeling the high of like, oh my God, my hormones are like up at an optimal level, intimacy was nuts. I'm sure my husband can attest to that. Yeah, it was, you know, the libido of a 16-year-old boy, and I'm 35. So at the time, you do the math, or you do the, is there such thing as sex math? I don't know. But at some point, your body does stabilize. I mean, you don't go back to being like a dried out whatever. But you do stabilize, and you have like probably whatever you consider like a normal female libido to be. All that, orgasms work, all these things work as normal. It's, you're just not maybe at, you know, 16-year-old boy, you know, humping everything that moves type deal. So that's the update on that. And with the HRT, you know, I'm sure if I stopped it, my libido would also completely tank because it's being supported by these hormonal therapies. Because if I just go cold turkey and stuff, it's gonna dip again, and horrible things will happen. In my mind, it's all horrible because I felt so bad being, you know, before I was on the therapy. So that's an update on that. And also go back to intimacy changes. I feel too, and I'll say this, even this is an ask, but I feel this is all connected. You know, with menopause, I know a lot of, I mean, you can maybe remember your mom or your aunt or your grandmother talking about their crazy attitude, mood swings, their bodily reactions going through menopause. And I feel maybe sometimes I feel like I have slight mood swings or things irritate me more, but I'm not 100% sure because as you get older, I think you start just getting done with bullshit and things irritate you a lot easier than they probably did when you were younger. So I'm not sure if that's menopause or old age that's causing this, but I do feel like my HRT is helping me kind of, you know, skeet along, just slowly manage it somewhat. I'm sure I could be worse off if I wasn't on the hormonal replacement therapy, as well as like my libido. Like I'm sure menopause like screws with people's libido in a not so positive way. So I feel like it's kind of like holding me up from falling into another dark place, which is menopause. Other question I was asked, everything working normal? Other than my weight? I think so. I will get that figured out if I have to, you know, because being Hispanic, like diabetes it's like the little demon on my shoulder. It's like, yeah, when are we gonna fuck up your pancreas? You know what I mean? Like it can't wait. So that's why I'm also trying to get my weight lowered, because with the death of my grandmother 2 years ago, and then it was my stepdad, I really feel like the stress just like it shot me into like pre-diabetic. My A1C was like at 5.9 around that time, and my doctor's like, dude, you're pre-diabetic. And I was like, no, it's stress. So luckily I've continued weightlifting. I've been weight training twice a week, and on this past month, I've been trying to push it to go 3 times a month. So I feel like that's kind of really helping my A1C levels. Last time I went to the doctor and had it checked, I think it was like 7 or 8 months ago, and I was at 5.7, and I believe you have to be 5.6 or below to be considered not diabetic. So I am right at that cusp. In fact, I have to do blood labs as soon as I can because I have an appointment coming up this month to check it again. I also have a cholesterol problem. I believe I've spoken about this before. And that also, because I've had high cholesterol, being on hormone therapy, like testosterone therapy, that also increases your cholesterol. So I'm kind of like, but I'd rather figure it out on my own diet wise than not be on the therapy and suffer in different ways. So that's the update. So it's been 9 years since my hysterectomy. Everything else besides that has been fine. Other than I think I've been slowly creeping towards menopause, and definitely I know now I'm perimenopausal because sometimes I'll have night sweats and I'll wake up like just sweating, like my legs are soaking wet, my chest. I have to throw the blankets off and I wake up and I'm like, and it really sucks. But that's the next chapter in my life. Menopause. I knew this day would come. So yeah. So that's how I'm feeling. All right. So I've been ranting for almost like 20 minutes at this point, or 18 minutes. So if you have any other questions, let me know. I'll answer them in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching and asking me. If you're gonna have a hysterectomy, I hope it goes well. If this is your first time watching my video, I have other videos about hormone replacement therapy and my hysterectomy journey. So please watch that if you want to know more or less how it affected me, just to prepare yourself, because, everyone wants to have someone on their side that they know what they're going through, right? So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.